Hi, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be doing the second video in our color series, and this is orange. We're going to be painting a hibiscus, and I'm really excited about it. If you're interested in checking out the other videos in the color series, I will have a link to the playlist linked down below. To start out, I'm going to mix my orange, and I've got Brilliant Orange right here, and then I'm going to mix in a little bit of Isoindolin Yellow. And then just drop in a little bit of water to lighten it up just a little bit. And these are super fun. They're a lot like anemone in how they're shaped with the 5 petals. They've just got a little bit more ruffle to them. So to start, I'm going to kind of outline the shape and then quickly fill it in. You want to make sure that you don't take too long after you've outlined to fill in. Otherwise you'd see a pretty obvious outline, and we don't want that. These petals are a little bit longer than the anemone. I'm using my Blick Premier paper. It's really similar to Arch's Cold Press, so I'll leave a link down below for that. And then I'm using my size 10 Princeton Neptune brush. It's a round brush. I don't know if I mentioned that. Alright, now I've got the main part of my flower built, and with some Opera Rose, I'm just going to tap in a little bit of color just right along the edge. It's already dry up here, so it's not going to spread out as nice as I want it to, but I've got a little trick that I can show you. Same with over here, it's not blending as much as I want it to. That's okay, I'm going to show you how to fix that. The key is you want your paint, I'm getting ahead of myself. If you want to do this technique, you want to make sure that the layer underneath is totally dry, or this is not going to work. So I've painted my layer, and while that's still wet, I'm going to rinse my brush and then just gently pull that color into the rest of my flower and then paint right over the top. So then it gives the illusion that I was able to drop in the color directly onto the orange. But really I'm just blending it. And I'm covering the entire petal just so that there aren't any weird hard lines from where my second layer is over the top layer. So even though the paint isn't going to travel all the way to the center, I still want it to look seamless, so that's why I'm covering the entire petal. I'm also going to drop in a little bit of color here in the center, and because the paint is wet, because I just put a layer of water down, it's going to blend out. So now I'm going to leave that. We're going to paint our second flower, and I want to change up the orange just a little bit. So I'm going to add a little more of this Isoindolin Yellow. add in a little bit of this Jaune Brilliant. It's my peach color here. And I will leave a link down below for all of the colors that I'm using. So I'm just going to add another one right down here, the same way that I built my first one. And for this one, I'm going to add in a little bit of that original orange color that I had. Right along the edges again. Because I worked a little bit faster, I don't need to go back in and blend. And then here in the center as well. Okay, and now we just let this dry. You don't want to fuss around with your paint and try and push it around where you want it. You kind of want to let the watercolor just do what it will. And we're going to move on to our greenery. So over here I've got all of my greens, and I think I'm going to use Hooker's Green. It's just a nice, vibrant, cool green. Doesn't really matter what shade of green you choose. I'm going to go for a slightly muted green, and I'm going to add in just a little bit of orange to just soften that color a little bit, and then add in some water. So some of this paint is still wet, so I'm going to be really careful to not overlap my petals too much. If I get a little bit of green, it's okay, but I'm going to try to avoid it if I can. I've just added in a little bit of cobalt teal. I'm trying to decide what's going to go kind of in here, because right now I've got two flowers happening and I want to kind of connect them together. So what I think I'm going to do is add in just a few filler flowers here, and we'll see if that helps connect everything together. And I'm just doing mini versions of these. I think that helps just kind of bridge that gap a little bit. Okay, and this hibiscus is now dry. So I'm going to go in with a bright pink color. This is my quinacridone rose. And then add the stamen. Now normally these are yellow, so you could use some gouache or some acrylic paint and paint those in yellow, but because I just want to use my watercolor paint, I'm just going to use a darker color instead. It's not a big deal for me if it's photorealistic. I just want to create that feeling and movement that when you look at this, you say, oh, these are tropical flowers, or I know what kind of flower that is. So that's what I'm kind of going for here. And then I'm just going to add a teeny bit of color here. I know these are supposed to be for orange and I'm adding in pink and yellow, but they're mostly orange, so I'm not too worried about it. We'll make these a little bit more orange when I finish those. Okay, everything seems like it's pretty dry, so we're gonna just go for it. I've got my orange here. I'm gonna add in a little bit more of that brilliant orange to finish these off. And I'm just going to make mini versions of these larger flowers here. And then I've just mixed in a little bit of quinacridone rose to that orange for this one up here. Let's see, I'm trying to decide which way I want this to face, and I think I'm just going to go up. So for the stamen, it's just a line up, and then I've just kind of created dots around the tip. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and then hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any future videos. Thanks again for watching. Bye!